Hey everybody, Taylor with KC here, and in this video, we're gonna be doing an unboxing and an overview of the KC Flex Era LED light bulb. So this video is going to give you all the education and information that you need to know to decide if this is the proper light bar for you and your vehicle. So a quick high-level overview of what this video is going to include. We're going to start off with features and benefits, all the big sexy stuff about the FE bar, and then we're going to get into the specs of it, the nitty-gritty, and we're going to follow that with a complete unboxing of everything that's included in the master kit of a Flex Era light bar. Then we're going to close out the video, wrap it up with real-world beam pattern footage of these things on trail at night, both in the spot and the combo beam patterns. So with that, let's get right into it. All right, so let's dive right into the features of the Flex Era light bar next. As you can tell, I got a bunch of different accessories laid out onto the table here, but we're gonna be covering those throughout the course of this section here. And the number one biggest, best feature about this light bar is actually the performance of it. So it has real, true, high output performance. We packed a ton of power into this light bar. And what that results in for you is really impressive and groundbreaking performance in terms of both beam quality and beam clarity. That comes from a few different factors. One of them being the size of the reflector. It comes from the optic design themselves, and it also comes from the color temperature of the light. So what that again results in is really groundbreaking performance for people that are going to be using this light bar, whether it's a 10-inch or all the way up to a 50-inch light bar. The second and really big thing about the Flex Era light bar is, as you might guess, it was designed with flexibility in mind. So what does that actually mean? What does that look like? Well, the simplest way to think about it is that Legos, but for grown-ups. So what that means is each 10-inch segment of light bars, they literally link together at each end of the light bar. And what's cool about that is at each junction point, each 10-inch section there, you can either choose to set the light bar at a curved or a straight configuration. So as you grow this light bar, and this is whether you buy a 10-inch, 20, 30, 40, or 50-inch light bar, you will be able to set this in either a completely straight, a completely curved, or any hybrid setting that you want in between that. So really cool options for the flexibility of this light bar. The other cool part about it is that you can change the optics on it, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So a lot of cool different features packed into the flexibility, from the ability to curve it, customize it, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of customization, that's actually the next big feature of this light. And of course, tried and true Flex Era family tradition means that you can change out the bezel color to anything of your liking. It's gonna come standard in the KC Gold, as you can see here, but separate, we also have red, black, and blue bezels available to suit your needs best. So not only do we have the bezels, but we also have a bunch of cool different cover and shield options. Right in the box, we're gonna get to in a little bit, it's gonna come with the complete opaque black and yellow cover, but we also have two new covers sold in 10-inch segments for these. Number one is clear. That's just gonna add a little bit of extra protection for the light. The second is an amber shield, and this is gonna have a nice dark output of amber beam pattern, so that's gonna be perfect for the dust, the silt, anything really heavy with particles in the air. That's gonna be the choice for that. All of these covers and shields, they just snap right over the face of the light themselves. Okay, now the third and final option for accessories is actually a brand new item for us here at KC, and that is a set of performance yellow lenses. So obviously it kind of looks pretty similar to the amber snap-on shields, but it's different in two important ways. Number one, this is actually a lens rather than a snap-on shield. So this completely replaces the standard clear lenses. But the second and the really important difference between this and the amber is that this is a lighter output. So it's still gonna be used in the dust, the silt, the dirt, all that kind of stuff, but it's gonna have a little bit of a brighter output compared to amber. And that's really gonna boil down to a little bit of personal preference, some performance differences between them as well. Another big one to cover is that it is a dual power mode light, which again, just like Flex Era tradition, if you know about our Flex Era family, you already know all about that. not only does it have the full high power output mode, but you flip the switch in the other direction and it has a nice amber LED backlight for a little bit of added touch of style. And the final feature to cover is that it is standard as a master kit. So before we dive too deep into that, I think we're gonna switch modes. Let me grab the box and we're gonna do a complete unboxing to show you exactly what's inside of every master kit Flexera light bar. Okay, so before we open the box of Flexera LED light bars here, there's a couple quick things that we wanted to cover. Number one, this box has some tricks up its sleeve, so after we get all the parts pulled out of here, we're gonna cover some cool stuff that's hiding inside of this packaging. It's also really important to know that the parts within this box, we've actually been using them for field testing already, so they have been installed on our Can-Am, so we just wanted to put this all together here to show you kind of a representation of what the master kit is going to look like when you guys get your hands on it. So with that, let's go ahead and pop it open. This is the smaller box for some of the smaller length LED light bars. There's also a larger box that's reserved for the 40 and the 50-inch LED light bars. So what you're gonna see as we open this box up here is some really nice, cool designs here. We will get into that in a second here. And right away is a tray that contains the different lights. So in this box, this is a 20-inch light bar. So every light bar is going to come unassembled, meaning that you have to do the assembly. But the cool part is we've already included all the instructions for that, and we included the tools for you to be able to do that yourself. So as we pop this thing open, this tray lifts out completely, and that has both your light bars in it and the linker brackets, the end mount brackets, and all of the hardware. Then a little bit lower down is all of the wiring harnesses, the spare lens that's included with the master kit. So as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be pre-assembled in the combo beam lens, but you're also gonna have a spot beam lens in the box as well. You're gonna have one spot beam lens per 10-inch segment that you have here. It's also going to include the black and yellow covers, but we only have one of those here and we have two of the lights, so we just don't even have them in the box. But rest assured, you will get those with yourself. And then we have a full wiring kit here. So it's gonna be all the wiring that you need, and it will come with the relay, the switch, stickers, and the full instruction guide, everything right in this second tray. So I'm gonna shuffle this out of the way. And the next part that's really cool to show off here is that this box actually unfolds completely to reveal the full assembly guide. So you wanna pop these two tabs, lift those up, and then everything pretty much just folds out, just like that. And what this is it's completely true to scale, so that way you can lay out all of your component parts right onto the packaging itself, and then follow the instructions in a clockwise manner. I mean, it tells you exactly how to install everything. So as I mentioned, all the hardware, all the brackets, everything is included in this kit. The tools are also included with it, so you have pretty much everything you need to get going. Just grab yourself a drink and get to work on it. So with that, that's everything inside of the master kit of the Flexera LED light bars. Okay, so next up, we are going to cover the specs for the Flexera LED light bar. And what we're gonna do here is we're really only gonna break it down by the 10-inch segment. Otherwise, it just gets too much into the nitty-gritty with that. So again, we're gonna only focus on the 10-inch specs here. Because they link together, you just multiply it and it kind of works out easily. So it gets a little bit tricky when we're comparing two different beam patterns because both of the beam patterns are included in the box. So we'll start in each spec with the combo beam, and then we'll go to the spot beam. But first, let's go ahead and start off with just the specs that are irrelevant for the beam pattern. So we'll start with the lumens. Each 10-inch segment has pretty staggering 7,912 lumens. And if you know the Flexera family inside and out, you know that that's actually the exact same number as the Flexera 4 lights, because a lot of the optics, the LED chips themselves are similar to the Flexera 4. Because of the configuration of the board inside of this, the wattage is a little bit higher. So the backlight for this 10-inch segment is 12 watts at 1 amp, and the full high power mode 10-inch segment is 108 watts at 12 amps. So next up now is when we get into the combo versus spot beam. So let's cover the lux values. The lux for the combo beam is 1,610. Lux for the spot beam is 1,800. Candela is very similar to that, just by factor multiplication there. And finally, the beam distance numbers. Beam distance for the combo beam is 324 meters, and then it's 591 meters for the spot beam. So with that, that's the bulk of the specs that you want to know. Of course, we have all the IP ratings and all that kind of good stuff as well. But in general, those are the main ones that matter as far as light output and performance is concerned. If you click the link below, you'll be taken to our product site on our website, the product page, and that will cover all of the dimensions, the height, the width, and the depth for these light bars, and all kinds of other good specs as well. All right, next up, let's take a look at the beam pattern footage for a 10-inch version of the Flex Era LED light bar. So as you can see here, we're gonna be starting off with the combo beam pattern lens. And as a reminder, these beam patterns can be changed out quickly and easily just by swapping out the lenses themselves from the combo, and as you'll see in a couple minutes here, the spot beam lens. So right now, what you can go ahead and see on screen is that this has a nice even distribution of light. So you can see in the center, there's a little bit more of a hot spot, a brighter intensity of this white light, while also looking to the sides of the video here, you can see enough light being spread out horizontally that you have a very good even coverage of light. That spot beam pattern in the center of this from the two center lenses still provides a lot of really good distance. So overall, that is actually why we decided to pre-assemble these lights as a combo beam, because the center of that lens is spot beams, the outer sides of the lens is actually spread beam, which results in the combo beam pattern lens overall. So once again, great even distribution of light for those people, those of you that are doing more general off-roading on UTVs and things of that sort. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at what the spot beam pattern is going to look like. Now overall, first thing you're gonna notice right off the bat is that that center hotspot is much more intense and focused compared to the combo beam pattern lens that we were just looking at. In addition, looking to the left and to the right side of the screen, there's less overall light that you can see. And again, these videos are a little bit harder to film because we're using just standard GoPro equipment because we have it mounted onto our Can-Am X3 here. So it doesn't always have the best representation of what the real world footage is looking like, but you get the idea. So overall, this spot beam pattern lens, as we talked about, really bright center hotspot. This is for those of you that really need the ultimate performance out of your Flex Era light bar. So this is for those that are driving at really high speeds in the most demanding situations and need light far penetrating onto the trail ahead of you where you're not gonna outrun it. So overall, that's a great look at the differences between the combo beam pattern lens and the spot beam pattern lens, which are both included in the master kit of the Flex Era light bars. And with that, that's pretty much everything that you need to know about the new Flex Era LED light bars. So if you have any questions about the product itself, please leave them in the comment section below. If you're interested in the product or you just want to see more details, the specs, all that good stuff, click the link in the description below. That's going to take you right to the website where you can see all the pretty details, all the pretty photos, all that good stuff, and snag one for yourself. With that, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up. We hope you did, and thank you for watching. So with that, remember to adventure further.